going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the 3 Days Talking Podcast. Today, we are here with a brand new video, guys. A new review, except this time, we're technically not reviewing any music. We are reviewing a review. We are reviewing a brand new Rolling Stones list, a top 50 list, as you can see right there on your screen. The Rolling Stone website, magazine, music review website. I mean, they do a lot of different stuff, but what they sort of got famous on is music reviews, specifically divisive music reviews. Would you say? Real quick, where would you guys say Rolling Stone is on the list of the music review websites? Where would you put it? S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier?
Yeah. Almost all of them are F tier. The only one that might be worse is Pitchfork.
Only one that might be worse is Pitchfork. Well, a brand new top 50 list called 50 Terrible Songs on Great Albums. This guy, Andy Green, decided to put together a list of the best or some great albums that have horrible ones. So let's read the description. 50 terrible songs on great albums. Even the greatest artists are guilty of putting garbage songs on otherwise classic LPs, from the Beatles and Bob Dylan to Harry Styles and Taylor Swift.
Two of those are not like the other.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's get into it, Bree. But
And
starting
stop.
off with the Beatles, Maxwell Silverhand.
All right, let's
Abbey
talk
Road,
about this.
1969. This is a controversial one between us three.
I'd like to give it a go.
Go for it.
Okay, first off, not even the worst song on the album. Not even a bad song, in my opinion. All it is a little goofy. That is its biggest offense, is being a little silly. It's a well-written song. They have no reason to put this on the list. Anybody else?
So I've never been a huge Maxwell Silverhammer guy. Just haven't. It is a little goofy. I mean, the guy even says in the first sentence, a goofy nursery rhyme type song. Yeah, it's a little goofy. Is it a dud? Is it a horrible song? No, it's not a horrible song. It's not terrible. I mean, the description of this article says terrible songs. It's not a terrible song by any stretch. So no, I don't think this should be on this list. Cole?
I wouldn't put it on this list. I'm not a crazy fan of it. I think it's okay, but like Noah said, I think there's at least a couple weaker songs on Abbey Road than that one. There is one song on Abbey Road that I think is not good.
All
but
right,
I
now
totally
we're
understand being
talking
on
way
there.
too much ish. Now we're talking way too much. But no, I don't think that this deserves to be on this list. Definitely not top 50 terrible song on a great album. No shot. I guess it's interesting that John Lennon himself said he hates the song, because he called it Paul's song.
That does not surprise me.
He
at
said
all.
apparently he told Playboy magazine, "That's Paul's. I hate it because all I remember is a track. He made us do it 100 million times. We spent more money on that song than any of them in the whole album." Lennon, not a fan of Maxwell Silverhammer.
Was not a fan of a lot of Paul McCartney songs. They beefed a bit.
Clearly. All right, we got to move on to number 49, Bob Dylan, Ballad in Plain D. I have not heard this album, nor have I heard this song, so I can't comment. Noah?
Yes, I've heard this album. There's not a singular bad song on it. Just like most Bob Dylan albums from this era, there's not a bad song, let alone a terrible song. The only thing they got right is calling it a great album. It's a good album. So, don't know why they're kind of trying to come at Bob Dylan, a guy who, like, in this era has, like, no terrible songs. It's just Rolling Stone being Rolling Stone.
Well, it's interesting. The first two on this is Beatles and Bob Dylan. Iconic artists.
Yep, they're just trying to grab you right in of their terrible
right
opinions.
Off the bat. Cole, have you heard another side of Bob Dylan?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I don't think I've heard this song.
They did say in the description of this that he takes quite a lot for Bob Dylan to admit he made a mistake. But apparently he said, "I look back and I say I must have been a real schmuck to write that. Of all the particular songs I've written, maybe I could have left that alone." Often artists are their own worst critics. I think we all know that. Noah seems to disagree with Mr. Dylan though. But we'll move on. 48, we have Pavement Hit the Plane Down. Has anyone heard this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Off Crooked Rain. Cole.
All right.
I don't recall there being a bad song on Crooked Rain. I'm not like a massive Pavement fan. I did think they have some pretty good, some bangers in their discography, and I have listened to this album. I don't remember any song on it being terrible. That doesn't sound right at all. So no, I don't agree with this.
Noah?
Yep, not a singular bad song on that album, let alone
Ooh.
terrible.
Wow.
Like,
Okay.
it's just classic Pavement. I don't see the issue with it.
Apparently
Maybe
his
there's like a
issue
minute.
has an unsettlingly bass-heavy tune where he repeats "hit the plane down" in a distorted voice over and over and over, and that, I guess, he calls terrible. All right, 47, Pixies Silver off Doolittle from 1989. Now, I've heard a Pixies album, but I have not heard Doolittle.
Again, there's really nothing on that album that's terrible. There's some really good songs on Doolittle. There's some less memorable ones. I do think that album is a little overrated in the grand scheme of music, but there's nothing on that album that I think is terrible.
Okay, Noah?
Yep, just gonna be repeating myself again. Great album, no bad songs, nothing close to a bad song. Don't understand, it just feels like they're rage baiting.
So far, you guys would rate him...
Rage-baiting the indie heads.
You guys would rate this so far 0 for 4. I'm 0 for 1 because I've only heard 1. 46, Guns N' Roses Anything Goes off Appetite for Destruction.
Now, here's the problem.
Okay.
Here's the problem.
I knew we were going to get cold here.
Here's the problem. Because this being on here implies that there are good songs on Appetite for Destruction. And that it honestly implies that Appetite for Destruction is a good album, which is not true. So I would have just put... I mean, I wouldn't have put any Guns N' Roses song on here because none of them are good.
Sweet Child of Mine's pretty good.
It's annoying and it's corny.
All right,
I'm not sure if that's on this
ignoring
album.
that, Appetite for Destruction, Anything Goes. I've heard Appetite for Destruction. I do not remember this song, but I don't remember hating anything on Appetite for Destruction to the point where I'd say, like, that's terrible. So I'm going to say no. Noah? They're just very mid.
I'm gonna double down on with what Cole said, but not as hard.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say that it shouldn't be here because it's a album. Because the list of the name of the list is
qualify for the
terrible
great
songs.
album.
Yeah, it's not
partition.
a great album. That's why it shouldn't be here.
You know what? I agree with both of you, actually. Appetite for Destruction does not qualify as a great album, so it should not be on this list. All right, 0 for 4 or 0 for 5 for you two. Moving on, 45. David Bowie off of, okay, wow. Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and Spiders from Mars. It Ain't Easy. Cole with a quick hand up. Go for it.
The fuck is this? Every song on that album slaps to some degree. There's no such thing as a bad song on Ziggy Stardust. It Ain't Easy is a really catchy glam rock, art rock song. What the fuck is the problem with It Ain't Easy? There's no problem with it.
He said it has nothing to do with the storyline, and the only track on the album Bowie didn't write himself has no business being there.
I'm not super up to date on how
qualify it to be a terrible song, though.
No, it doesn't. It's a perfectly good song.
I'm gonna
it's
have
really
to,
catchy.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I'm gonna have to agree with Cole here. This guy's own wordage, he doesn't criticize the song itself. He just criticizes where it is on the album. It's very weird to do that. Noah, do you have any difference?
I would definitely call it the quote-unquote worst song on the album, though it's still a good song. The entire album is just good songs. I don't understand why there's any reason to ever consider there being a terrible song on Ziggy Stardust. That is an outlandish opinion.
It is interesting that Bowie...
Terrible song is like a 3 out of 10 or lower. There's no song on Ziggy Stardust that's under an 8.
I completely agree with that. I will say it's interesting. He said that Bowie never played this song a single time on the Ziggy tour or any time afterward. So that's interesting.
Well, he's got a huge
discography.
A million great songs. So
all right, 44. The Stone Roses, an album we just listened to about a month and a half ago. Did we not listen to Stone Roses' debut?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, it was a paid request.
Yeah,
that's true. We did. The Stone Roses Don't Stop from the Stone Roses debut, the Stone Roses subtitled 1989. Yeah, it is their debut album. I know we got a lot of divisive takes on our reaction to that album, but for the most part, we all liked it. I'm pretty sure the lowest score was like a 7 out of 10 on that album. Cole's giving me a face like he didn't rate it that high. Okay.
I don't think I gave that album a 7.
All I'll say is I don't. In fact, you know what? I'll pull up my own rating of that because I have it written down. So give me a second, boys. Go ahead.
The biggest flaw with this album, in my opinion, is the sound being a little samey.
Okay, here I have the official rankings we all gave it. I gave it the lowest at a 6. Noah 7.5, and Cole a 7.
Okay, well.
So there we go.
Yeah, the biggest issue with this album for me, at least, was the sound being a little samey across some songs, but it wasn't a bad sound.
No.
So it doesn't correspond with there being any terrible songs. It is a perfectly good debut album.
I mean, I gave it the lowest out of 6. Kind of says everything about our opinion of this. His main reasoning appears to be it's a clever experiment that would have been a fun B-side or a hidden track, but being as the 4th song on the album, it had very good reason
plays reverse.
Oh, sorry.
It's a song that plays reverse.
Oh, right. Anyway, point is, he basically said it should have been a side B or a bonus track.
I
don't
think they're
see
being
that.
really generous with the word terrible.
Yeah, the terrible language is throwing me off a bit here.
This one was mid. I wasn't a fan of it because I didn't really like.
You gave it a 7.
Playing in reverse thing.
Unless you,
Okay.
I mean, hey. 42, The Doors' Horse Latitudes off of Strain Days.
I'm definitely the Doors guy out of us.
All right, Noah.
So I'll go. Strange Days, really good album. Really good. Horse Latitudes, fucking terrible song.
Oh!
It is awful.
We get our first agreement from Noah.
Yeah, we are, but this is such a gimme.
Agreements.
Agreements. He agrees with them.
Agreement.
I'm agreeing with Rolling Stones on the biggest gimme ever. This is a wide open layup right here.
It's a normie take.
It's a normie take because it's the right take. It's like a minute something long. It's just like a Jim Morrison saying absolute nonsense in like a pastor preaching voice. It's the only song so far that I would say is genuinely awful.
Well, the song is apparently about drowning horses into your head. Or drowning
Sounds
horses.
about right.
And that's pretty wild. Well, Noah, 1, 4, 8 so far. We'll see if that continues. 41, Genesis. Noah, I know you're a Genesis fan. Illegal.
Not this era.
Not that era.
A Genesis Illegal Alien off of the debut album.
It's not the debut.
Or
Their debut was
the self-titled album.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's where I'll chime in.
Okay.
There's maybe one great album, good to great album in the entire Phil Collins era. So, no, this doesn't get to be here because it's not a great album. There you go.
Taylor Swift featuring Gary Lightbody, The Last Time, off of Red from 2012. Noah, you want to talk?
Haven't heard the album. Heard a lot of Taylor Swift songs. She fucking blows. I hate her. She writes about the same things over and over again.
When you said you wanted to talk, really, you just wanted to trash Taylor Swift.
Yeah, her music is so incredibly unseasoned, lacking any form of character.
Okay.
She has no great album.
Right.
True. She does not have a great album. She doesn't have a good one.
35, The Velvet Underground, The Murder Mystery off of self-titled album from 1969.
This is probably the Velvet Underground album I like the most, but it's not great. It is not great, but this song is pretty bad. This song's pretty bad. It was easily the worst song on the album. But it's not terrible. I don't know if they, from what I've heard, the stuff I've heard, I don't know if they've made a terrible song. So I'll just cut it off the list for not being a great album and not being a terrible song.
Moving on to 34, we have The Clash, Red Angel Dragnet off of Combat Rock 1982. Cole, I feel like you got something to say.
It's not about this song, but I could totally make a comment.
Go ahead.
The Clash don't have a great album.
Ooh.
London Calling. I get that London Calling is one of the most critically acclaimed and beloved double albums and just albums of all time. I don't like it. I don't like any Clash album. So I don't think they can.
That's really it.
Yeah, I do.
Really
he sounds awful.
Noah, do you have any comment about Combat Rock?
No comment.
No comment. All right. 33. Oh,
Yes, although
wow.
yes and no.
Okay. I have
Yes
a
and
comment.
no.
It's been a minute since I had a comment. So we have Kanye West, Drunken Hot Girls off Graduation. Obviously one of his most critically acclaimed albums he did in 2007. Had some of the highest peaks you'll ever see from Kanye. Also a couple lows. This is not one of the ones I would have called terrible off of this album, though.
What?
I know the opinion of Cole is going to completely disagree with that. Give me a second. I do not think Drunken Hot Girls is that bad. I actually like the chorus. Shoot me, I guess. I think there are worse songs on this album than Drunken Hot Girls. This does not qualify as terrible to me. This would be like a mid song. It's like a 5.5. But Cole, you look like you want to respond, so shoot it.
That song is awful. Okay. That one and Barry Bonds are terrible.
Barry Bonds
songs.
is worse. It's worse.
I don't know which one is worse because I avoid them like the plague because they suck ass. So yes on that this is a terrible song because this is a terrible song.
Not a terrible song.
However, I wouldn't call Graduation a great album. I think it's a good album. I wouldn't call it great though.
No, it is a great album. Noah, you also seem like you wanted something to say.
I do want to talk about this. What rating would you say, considering it calls an album great?
I would say at least an 8
or higher.
Yep.
Okay.
Actually,
yes,
a great album, 8.5 or higher.
I probably agree with Cole.
On a good day, I'd call this a great album.
7 out of 10 album.
9.5 to 10.
Okay.
Oh my lord, it's got 2 horrible songs on it.
One
you cannot get a
horrible
10.
song.
Yeah.
You can't get a 10 with one horrible song.
Wait, Noah.
I will give them the great album part. I'll just give it to them. I'll also give them a terrible song.
No.
This song blows.
This song is atrocious.
It's not terrible.
I think
so
this is the
bad.
worst song on the album. There's just nothing appealing about it.
Barry Bonds is worse than this.
I disagree. They both fucking suck.
Mhm.
But yeah,
I mean, it's certainly
you got
not
another one
I'd
right.
call.
Good job, Rolling Stone. You did it.
You got it half
Noah
right.
calls for 2. Cole's got 1. I still have 0.
They could have just called this list like
I will say
bad
this
songs on beloved albums.
This is the closest I've come to agreeing with them, but still I don't count this as a terrible song. All right, number 32, Bob Dylan's Joey off of Desire. Noah, instant hand. You are the Desire fan here.
No bad songs on Desire.
Okay.
All great songs. Amazing album. The only issue with this song is it's a little long-winded. That's the only issue. There's no bad songs on this album. To even consider there to be a terrible one is absolute malarkey. Amazing
Malarkey.
album.
Taking Cole's word. Okay.
That album's like an 8.5 to a 9. Really good album.
Fucking...
Just pure baloney that it's on here.
Cole, you care?
It's been a long time since I listened to all of Desire. I don't remember
Alright.
this song. I
Fair
stick
enough.
with Hurricane.
He calls this specifically an 11-minute slog of a song on an otherwise stellar desire. It's just, he's basically saying it's just too long. It's just too long, and it slogs through. 30, another Genesis song, The Battle of Epping Forest by Selling England by the... Yes, no, I see your hand. Go for it.
Okay, another just batch of fucking baloney here. Not a singular bad song on Selling England by the Pound. Amazing album. This is just so fucking stupid. This is maybe the best Genesis album, and to ever consider there to be a bad song on it is just fucking stupid.
Well, it's interesting. I don't know. Apparently, Phil Collins said decades later there was no space. All the air had been sucked out of it. If we'd known, we could have thinned it out. In those days, we didn't go back and re-record things. Sounds like he would have re-recorded it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna listen to the guy who fucking ruined Genesis.
All right, into the top 29.
That does,
top
however,
30.
imply that there's such a thing as a good Genesis album, which I
yeah,
totally disagree with.
Countless.
Moving to 29, another Neil Young song. Neil Young's Such a Woman off Harvest Moon.
I can't tell if they're sucking his dick or bullying him. Because he's on this list so many times and it's fucking crazy. They must think he has like 10 plus amazing albums. I mean, I wouldn't know because I haven't even heard 10 Neil Young albums. But there's no bad songs in Harvest Moon. There is no bad songs. It is a perfectly fine album. There's nothing to hate about it. The most you can do is it not be your thing and maybe you'd be a little bored.
So you would disagree with his take of it being a cringe-inducing piano ballad?
Yep, that's goofy.
Okay. Number 28. Oh, a Pink Floyd song enters the mix. Well, there could be a couple Pink Floyd songs on this list. But we have Pick Up Thy Stethoscope and Walk.
There could
Like
be
two?
two.
I guess, okay. I keep forgetting
there
that
are-
great album part. I keep forgetting.
There are
That's fair.
two great Pink Floyd albums that have terrible songs on them. This is
one
not one of them
happens to be
because
the
Great
this
album.
album is not great. This album is not good.
So hold on. Let me start here because I haven't had much of a chance so far. We did just obviously do this one. Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Go check it out. But yeah, we all, for the most part, Cole definitely struggled the most to get through that, but we all did a little bit. They were still not finding their sound yet. This is back with the Sid Barrett days, of course. It's really hard for me to remember songs that I considered terrible if I did. I could go look up the rating real quick if you guys want to talk for a second. Go for it.
I wholeheartedly think that this is a terrible song, but I also think this is a really mid to boring
Pick Up
album.
Thy Stethoscope and Walk. I gave it a 2.5. Cole gave it a 1, and Noah gave it a 4. So, by the definition we have as terrible, two of us agree, and I am finally on the board, and Cole's at 2. But Noah,
This is not a great album.
That's
Okay,
true.
you can stop.
That's
You can
true.
stop.
It's not a great album.
All right.
Noah.
Well, let me go. The Floyd guy. Sorry, the biggest Floyd guy. Great album. Great album. It is definitely an 8.5 or higher. Probably an 8.5. This is not. Okay, you can stop, buddy. You just don't get it, pal. But
Apparently.
this is not the worst song on the album.
I mean,
So,
it was the lowest rated one we all did.
You picked
Well,
the
not
wrong
you.
guy. You're picking the wrong guy here.
Picking the
You're
wrong
not
guy.
picking. The worst song on the album is Power Talk H or Power Touch, however it's said. That is easily the worst song on the album. But I'll
Might be
give you 50% because it's a great album.
Yeah, I thought about it and I just realized that Cole's right. It's not a great album, so technically this can't count as though it is a terrible song, but it is not on a great album. So yes, 50% in the complete opposite direction.
By their criteria, I don't think they've had one yet.
Bob Dylan, Rainy Day Woman, number 12 and 35 off Blonde on Blonde.
No.
Cole big
That's
disagree.
a good song. That's a funny, fun song. That is Bob Dylan being a, very tongue-in-cheek, on the nose with his humor kind of song. It's decently catchy and it's pretty funny. That is a perfectly solid song on a great album.
Interesting, the description. First line says, "This is likely to be a controversial choice since it was the most successful single on Blonde on Blonde and one of the biggest hits on Dylan's early career." Noah, you're a big Blonde on Blonde fan, if I remember correctly. I take it you disagree.
Okay, are you allergic to having fun? Actually. This is such a fucking stupid pick. It's a great song. Again, and just like Maxwell Silverhammer, even though the song's better. The biggest flaw that you could ever find is it being a little goofy. That is the
Maybe a
only
little
thing-
repetitive.
Yeah, but even then, it's good. It's good fun. But this guy's allergic to fun. He doesn't fucking get it, apparently. Only thing I'll agree with him is that it's a great album. It is a very, very, very good album.
I have heard Blonde on Blonde. I do not remember this song on it. But that being said, I do not remember thinking anything was terrible on Blonde on Blonde. So I disagree with this as well. The Who, Squeeze Box off The Who by Numbers.
Who outside of diehard Who fans listens to the Who by Numbers?
I've heard it a few times.
I heard it once.
I've heard it before, but
definitely
like
not a
who
great
comes
album.
back to it?
It's definitely not a great album.
I'd like to talk about it.
All right, go ahead, Noah.
This song's a bit of a cringer. This song's pretty cringe.
She goes in and out and in and out.
That's where I didn't want to. I was about to get to that point. That hook for that part of the song is unbearable when you know what they're referring to as a squeeze box. That is just pure cringe. I mean, it's not a bad song. It's mid. The album is not great either. It's not great. It's like a 7.5. We can hold our horses on calling it a great album, guys.
I would probably have given it like a 6.5. I mean, nothing really for me to come back to on that one. 22. Creedence Clearwater.
Who thinks Pendulum is a great album?
Pendulum.
Who the hell thinks Pendulum is a great album?
What?
2 quick answers right off.
You could go with like their second, third, and fourth. I think that's the run that they hit with like what are those albums called?
Willie and the Poor Boys, Cosmos Factory, Green River.
Yeah, like I mean, I would really only say Cosmos Factory is a great album. And you could even, I mean, I wouldn't argue there's a terrible song on Cosmos Factory, but like, who the hell thinks Pendulum is a great album?
Apparently Rolling Stone
watched Creedence Clearwater Revival.
All right. Moving on to 20. Another Neil Young song. My goodness. There's a World off of Self-Titled from 72. Noah, you're up to bat again.
Once more. Can't tell if they're dick riding Neil Young or not. I'll just say they are by thinking he has this many amazing albums. Because he has like 5 other amazing albums with no bad songs easily that are not here. Yeah, again, we're being silly. We're being little goofballs. Again, Neil Young in the 70s is such an incredibly inoffensive artist that thinking he has any terrible songs is just really incredibly, like, mind-bogglingly stupid.
So what you're saying is you disagree?
Very hard to disagree.
Very hard to disagree. Cole, do you have an opinion?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right. On to Michael Jackson, Lady in My Life off of Thriller. So,
that's your choice. That's your pick.
Finally, hold on. Finally, I have something to agree with because I do not think this song is good at all. This Thriller is a great album. I am probably one of the few ones here who actually thinks it is a great album. That being said, this song is pretty ass. This is pretty terrible. It's just, I mean, it just doesn't feel like the rest of the album does. The rest of the album's so upbeat and I mean upbeat in like a interesting melodic way, but this song just is completely different and doesn't fit at all. Cole, you have a smile on your face. So I'll agree with
I just wasn't entirely sure what that meant, but we're like so close to me agreeing, but I can't really? Because I can't sit here and pretend like I think Thriller's a great album. I think it's a good album, 8 out of 10 album, but great is at least an 8.5. And I wouldn't even, every album that I've given an 8.5 out of 10, I wouldn't call a great album necessarily. It's kind of split at that point. This song is bad. Yeah. This song is not good. Not even the only song on this album that I could consider to be a bad song.
Songs, but this is definitely the worst.
Fucking The Girl Is Mine is awful.
Mine.
That song sucks. But yeah, I can't say that this is a point for me yet.
Noah?
Yeah, this is not the worst song on the album. It's on the cusp of being great. That's what I would say about this album. I don't think it's, like, on a really good day, it's great. But then again, you picked the wrong song here. The Girl Is Mine
No.
That song
This is worse.
Trainwreck.
I really don't remember this one that much.
That's why it's worse. It's unrememberable entirely.
But the Girl Is Mine is offensive.
Yeah, that is offensively cringeworthy.
You have 2 of the greatest singers of all time on a song, and that's the fucking thing you come up with for that shit. It's not only just a bad song, it is one of the biggest disappointments in the history of music.
All right, we got to move on into the top 20. Number 19, another Beatles song. This one off Rubber Soul, Run for Your Life. God, I do not remember Rubber Soul very well at all.
Noah's a Rubber Soul boy.
All right, Noah. This list was built for you.
This is the worst song on the album. But considering any song on the album terrible is once again we're getting in silly territory.
Well,
We're trying to be different. We're trying to be funny. We're failing at everything.
it's also in trying to say that Rubber Soul is great, which it's not.
It is great.
It's not great.
It's not great.
Yeah, you guys are wrong, and that's
It's
okay.
a solid Beatles album. It's not great.
It's good. It's not
They're
great.
It was
wrong,
the
and
first.
that's
It was the second album where they made great songs,
Okay, you
but
can
it's not a.
stop.
It's not a great album.
Great album. Very close to being right, but nothing on that album is terrible.
So you disagree?
Yep.
Ooh,
Oh,
here we go.
here we are. Here we are.
15, we have the Beatles, the continuing story of Bungalow Bill White Album. All right, I have a problem. This is two problems, but the biggest one. Yes, the White Album is a great album. It is often my closest to a 10 that I have. Very, very close. My big issue is the over hatred of Bungalow Bill, because this song is not terrible. It's not even close to terrible. It's good to even great. I like Bungalow Bill. I know a lot of Beatles fans for some reason dislike it. I think Cole dislikes it. No? Okay. Noah, is it you that dislikes it?
I probably like it the least.
Okay. I know a lot of Beatles fans think it's not great. I disagree entirely. I think this is a jolly little song. I am a big fan, so I completely disagree with this. Cole?
Good song, great album.
Noah?
Okay. With him choosing this song, that's insinuating that he thinks Wild Honey Pie and Revolution 9 are better.
Yeah.
this song.
What the fuck
And
is
why don't we
that?
do it in the road?
Unless
Don't
they're-
pass me by.
Yeah.
So many better picks.
Unless they're also on this list, but
So many
They're
songs
not.
you could have picked, and you fucking missed. You could have had a hit, all of us. But no, you fucked
Picked
it
a
up
decent song.
because you wanted to be different.
there's
Because it is a great album.
this crazy thing he says here. There are other weak moments on the White Album, including Wild Honey Pie, Rocky Raccoon. Disagree about
Rocky
that. I disagree
Raccoon.
about that
Rocky
one.
Raccoon is a good song
Night,
too.
not to mention
Yeah.
Revolution 9. But then he says the Bungalow Bill is the one that has us reaching for the skip button the fastest. Boy, is
You're
that
speaking
just
for yourself there, pal.
entirely
Not even-
wrong.
That's such
Entirely
a
wrong.
bland reason.
It really
Yeah,
is.
you're definitely speaking for only you and yourself only with that one.
All right, number 14, Bob Dylan on here again, third time as well. Yes, no, I see Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts off Blood on the Tracks, which is a big Noah favorite. Go for it.
Yeah, I was going through this list earlier. This is what really set me off. This is one of my favorite songs on Blood on the
Ooh.
Tracks. This is an absolute banger of a track. This is absolutely fucking silly. Even insinuating that any song on this album is not good is fucking absolutely wild. You got it right with the great album part, because it's an amazing album. It's my favorite Bob Dylan album.
Whew.
But what are we doing? What are we doing? That's all I have to say. Is like, what the fuck are we doing?
Well, Blood on the Tracks is a good album. You could maybe call it great on a good day. I would say Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts is an unmemorable song, but to call it terrible is insane. Yeah, no, disagree. Cole?
It's an okay song on a really good album.
Pretty much what I think.
So, disagree.
Number 11, another Neil Young song. Boy, they really are just ripping this guy to shreds right
Okay.
now. Florida off of Homegrown, this must be his newest album.
No.
Oh, well, his
Okay,
2020
I'll just
album.
talk, and then we can be done.
Okay.
And I'll explain why. Why do we have so much Neil Young in here?
This is the fourth one.
And we're picking weird albums too to do this. We're picking a 2020 Neil Young album and calling it great. What are we doing? Like, you could have gotten some really nice hot takes, but you just choose something like maybe like a handful of people who are ever gonna read this list have heard. It's just fucking stupid. Very stupid placement.
So I assume you don't agree by calling it a great album.
Neil Young has not made a great album in a long time.
Interesting. All right, number 10, The Stooges' We Will Fall, off of The Stooges, 1969. I'm gonna let Cole go
I've heard
first.
this.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Cole go first.
Really weird song considering the fact that they were a proto-punk band. It's like 10 minutes long. It's almost like psychedelic or spacey. It's really fucking weird. It's not bad, nor would I call their debut album a great album. I think their second and third albums are awesome, and fucking, I would definitely call both of those great. But I wouldn't call their debut a great album, nor would I call this a terrible song. So
So disagree on
There you
both
go.
fronts. Interesting. I was reading this. Iggy Pop said years later, "There's usually one song in each of my albums that has people going, when he fucks up big time. This is absolutely unlistenable, pretentious crap."
Well, I get the Velvet Underground comparison now.
Yeah, I had to just get one stab in there, didn't you, Noah?
Had to.
It's so interesting to see artists be their own worst critics sometimes. It really is. All right, number 9. The Beatles again on here with Good Morning off Sgt.
we're
Pepper.
so close.
Wow.
Kind of.
Well, I'll say this. It's not the worst song on Sgt. Pepper.
It might be.
I'm not a. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a. It's not
It ain't
good. It's
good.
not good. To call
pretty
it
bad.
terrible. Yeah, I probably agree with it. Now the question begins to be asked: is
Sgt.
Sgt.
Pepper is
Pepper
not a great album. Sorry. It's
Boy,
not.
it hovers around great so much.
No, it doesn't.
I'm gonna have to think about it a little bit more. I'll let you two go ahead. Cole.
I definitely would not call Sgt. Pepper a great album. It has moments of absolute brilliance, like A Day in the Life, one of the greatest songs ever written, but it's way too inconsistent for me to ever call it a great album. Hell, I would struggle to, I would call it a good album either. I would call it an okay album in terms of front to back. I think it's okay.
Wow.
I think the
the
song does suck. Too bad.
All right, so you just disagree about the great, but you do say the song sucks. Noah?
I'm gonna wholeheartedly side with Cole here. It's not a great album. I probably like. I think I'd call it a good album, but
They have
yeah.
at least 4 better albums than Sgt. Pepper.
So while that was while you guys were talking, I was looking up the track list, and yeah, you know, I do think this is probably the worst song. I was thinking about one other song, and
Maybe the fucking tight song.
yeah, that was the one I was thinking about. But what I'll say is, Sgt. Pepper, extremely close to being great for me. Very good, but probably not great.
So
No.
yeah, this song pretty fucking annoying.
Yes.
The hook.
Worst chorus on the album.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it is
yeah, easily.
awful. Yeah, it's too inconsistent to be great, and this song's not garbage enough to be terrible. It's kind of, I'd call it bad, but not terrible.
Lennon apparently said, "It's a throwaway piece of garbage, I always thought."
He just loved
Lennon
shitting on
just
Beatles music when he was
loved
done with them.
blasting his own band's music. Jesus. All right. Number 8. The Who. Silas Stinging off The Who Sell Out. You know, I listened to The
I
Who
know
Sell
this.
Out one time, and I was like, this is really not good. I don't get it. I didn't like it. It sounded nothing like any of their other albums. I was not a fan, so I would not call it a great album.
It's a fine album.
Nope. It is not. Noah?
Good album, not great. This song's pretty fucking stupid. This is just like Good Morning, to where it's like, I don't know, you just think this song's really stupid. This sounds corny, but this song's even more corny. The lyrics are so fucking stupid. It misses the mark on both things that he's trying to imply of being a great album
Right.
and also a terrible song.
Number 7, The Beach Boys Student Demonstration Time off Surf's Up. This is a terrible, terrible pick. This is awful. First of all, Surf's Up is a great album. It's their best album. I completely agree with
Fucking
that.
such a bad take.
No, it's
Student Demonstration Time
No to both
is
of those.
a banger song. Completely disagree with calling this a terrible song. You could flip this and call it amazing. Yeah, you got 50% of it right. Great album. Noah?
Okay, here's the thing. First off, not their best album. That's silly. Second, not even the worst song on the album. That Day in the Life of a Tree song is way worse. This is a good song.
It is.
It is pretty easily a good song. I mean, you could say it was kind of like subject-wise, kind of ripping off Ohio by Crosby, Stills, and Nash. But even then, it's still a good song and well written.
Nothing wrong with this song. Cole?
Way too inconsistent of an album to be great. Definitely not. Pet Sounds clears Surf's Up pretty handily. I think this is a decent song. I mean, it's no Surf's Up title track, but you know, it's decently fun. Yeah,
Okay.
no, I disagree on both accounts.
Moving on. Top 5 Black Sabbath FX off Volume 4. Cole, you agree? Because you're bobbing your
I'm
head like you
trying.
agree.
I mean, I totally agree that this is a terrible song. It's barely a song. It's more just like, I mean, it literally sounds like
That is a wild
sound
photo.
effects for like, I don't know how long it is. It's like 40 seconds long. Yeah, it's terrible. It's a waste of time. It's absolutely pointless and useless. I don't know if Volume 4 is really it borders on the edge of being a great album. I don't know if I would call it a great album. It's a really good album.
Oh, he's the it's ticking.
Honestly, not the worst song on this album because
Ooh.
No.
Changes is on this album, and Changes is fucking terrible. Yeah, I can't. I don't think Volume 4 is a great album. I think it's a good album.
Wow. So no agreements. At the end here, he says, "This is surely good for a lap in the studio, but featuring a track on Volume 4 alongside legit songs like Changes and Snowblind
Changes
is a
is
decision."
awful. Changes is terrible.
Oof.
That's
No.
one of the cringiest things any metal band has ever written.
Yeah, it's the worst song on the album. I think so.
Is it a great album?
Yes, it is. This is just noise, Cole. This is noise.
Yeah, but it's only
Noise,
40
noise.
seconds. Changes is like 3 minutes of crap.
Still, I'm calling this the worst song on the album. Oh yeah, it's not. I would not call this a great album. It's a damn good album.
Damn good
It's
album.
not great,
Okay.
but yes, I agree that it's an absolutely terrible song.
All right. Number 4, Elton John, Jamaica Jerk Off Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
You may want to know what that is.
I have no idea.
I know what it is.
Do you want
Is
to
it
talk about
accurate?
it?
It is accurate, and I'd like to talk about it.
All right, go for it.
Yes, I'd call it a great album. I'm the only person here who would call it a great album, I'd imagine, if we've all heard
person
it.
here who's listened to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this song fucking blows. It's the worst song on the album by like a very wide margin. The tones of everything are awful. The entire vibe they were going for was just so bad. I mean, it's a great album, I guess. That's the best I could do to defend it right now. Is just great album, I guess. I mean, the song's fucking awful, but great album. So I mean, good job, Rolling Stones, man.
That's
Yeah.
number 5 for you, Noah.
Yeah,
Wow.
Out of 50.
Number 2, Pink Floyd Seamus off of Metal. Cole! Are you
Buzzer
putting me
beater.
on the board at the last second? Cole, go ahead.
Totally agree. Seamus is a train wreck of a song, and Metal is an amazing album. Seamus is... How long is Seamus? 2 minutes or something?
Yeah,
Maybe
probably.
less. Around 2 minutes of malarkey, absolute malarkey. A fucking dog barking with a shitty blues song playing around it. Just thrown into some of the best songs Pink Floyd has ever written, like Echoes and Fearless and A Pill of Winds One of These Days. I mean, that is an amazing album. And Seamus is such a random pile of crap in it. Yeah, totally agree here.
I also fully agree. This song sucks ass, and Metal is a great album. Completely agree. That's number 2 for me, I think. Noah, do you concur?
Outside of Umaguma, this is definitely like maybe the worst Pink Floyd song.
Wow.
This song blows. It's so upsetting because if this was not on Metal for me would be like extremely close to 10 out of 10 territory.
Ooh.
Amazing album, fantastic album. Garbage song, we hit again.
All right, and for the number 1 terrible song on a great album, we have The Police's Mother off of Synchronicity, 1983. Cole, I
Might be
know
overrating Synchronicity.
I know
you're
you're a Synchronicity fan a little bit.
It's got some good songs on it. It's got some very good songs on it.
Would you agree with
I wouldn't.
this
I'm not. I think the Police were more of a song band rather than an album band. There's not really an album by the Police that I think is great. They do have some great songs though. But I don't even remember this song, honestly.
Noah?
Yeah, I don't remember the song very much, but reading this, I saw the lyric, well, every girl that I go out with becomes my mother in the end.
Oh, mother.
I see why they put it here.
That's alarming.
Yeah, I see why they put it here. That lyric is pretty brutal, but I have not heard this album in a long time, so I'm not going to comment on anything beyond that.
Well, there it is. That's Rolling Stone's newest list, top 50 terrible songs on great albums.
They got it right once.
Cole goes 1 for 50. That's a what is that percentage?
Like 2%.
2%. Noah went 5 for 50. It's closer to like 5% or something
10.
like that. 10%.
10%.
10%. I went 2 for 50 as well. Yeah, I mean, Rolling Stone continues to make terrible music review lists, but that hasn't changed. That being said, I do applaud the willingness to go a little bit unique on the list. I mean, 50 terrible songs on great albums. That sounds like something we would do. You know, that's not a very popular in-demand popping Google search. Like, what's a terrible song on a great album? So I'll give props for that. But outside of that, pretty awful list. I don't think anyone here agrees. We did skip a lot of these albums or a lot of these songs because we just hadn't heard it, or it's not relevant to us in any form or fashion, or we just don't remember it. So there are some skips in there, but we hope you guys enjoy. If you like this type of content, let us know in the description down below, or no, let us know in the comments down below, and we'll try to get more of these little recording video type of reviews out there from other different things. So thank you guys so much for watching. Follow us on Twitter, follow us and go join our Discord, leave a like down below, hit subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.